Greetings, greetings. Sending you some warm, positive vibrations. So, just reasoning in the quiet of this early morning before the sun comes up. Just thinking that the womb, my womb, is closed to mean people. Mean people. Interesting. The womb, or my womb, and not just the physical womb, is closed to any meanness, even within myself. So meanness can have the womb closed down. So that was just a thought, very clear, lucid thoughts. I'm an early riser, and my thoughts are very, very clear in these hours, has been consistently for years. So you're invited to subscribe to the channel. If you find any value here, you'll find things or hopefully some motivation and inspiration to start a garden, to cultivate a personal movement practice, to feed yourself the most peaceful fuel available, food that loves your body temple back without clogging it up in creative ways, and motivation to increase your esteem through self-care. So that's what you'll find here on Body-Culinary. So it's the wee hours, and my motivation for many things is in the early day consistently. And this has been confirmed by my grandma Lou, I talk about all the time, who always got up when it was dark. And people for years were like, why do you get up so early? Well, the early day, I'm just gonna share it how it's coming through me this morning. I don't consider myself a healer. I don't put any titles, but I could tell you my mind of thought, right? You have the brain and the mind of thought, is crystal clear with solutions and clarity in the wee hours. So it has me reorganize and orchestrate my day to get up early so I can hear my own intelligence. So what's coming up this morning is that as much as we crave affection, we crave to be touched, that is something that's very natural. I was thinking, like, yes, we crave to be touched, but do we touch ourselves in the ways that we crave for other people to touch us? And I'm not talking about lust, and that has its place. But I think what I've observed has gotten twisted is the affection that humans that we crave has gotten co-opted by the entertainment industry for a profit. Very natural desires, family, communing with others, sharing, even human touch. We've allowed it to be co-opted. And what I mean by that is that somebody is writing the narrative and creating the pictures and the programs and the script for what that should look like. So in looking at affection, right, and looking at others share, like if you've ever seen somebody share deep affection, I'm not just talking about stroking and lust, and that does have a place, but when you notice genuine affection, a caring affection, you can see it in human beings. I think that it's something that we crave. I think definitely as feminine vessels and masculine vessels, it is something that we crave. It's a human desire. I think it's a natural human desire, but it has been co-opted, it has been perverted, it has been degraded and has become very low vibrational. Um, you see the affection now, the narrative of it has become something that is devoid of responsibility. It is devoid of care. It is devoid of long term care. It is devoid of, you just don't see the insight to the other components that go along with affection and human touch, to responsibility for our own and the emotional and mental wellness of the other people that we'd like to receive affection from. So it is very clear, or at least it comes up. I can't say it's very clear for other people. I don't even know if it's clear all the time, but what comes to me this morning as a clear communication from my onboard intelligence is that you are just going to the it's a choice, a decision. You're going to have to really give that affection, love, even touch to yourself first. There is no way around it. There is no way around it. Again, if something does not resonate that I'm sharing, just one woman's perspective, feel free to leave it right there, right? Just one woman's perspective. And when I'm saying, it's not just the physical touch or the hugging, because we can hug ourselves, but a lot of times, I think even in hugging ourselves, we don't really mean it. I think it feels awkward to us. So I'm observing that the hug it's a mentality. It's a mentality of self-care. The hug primarily, it's a mentality of self-care. It's a mentality of a refusal, an absolute refusal to open your space, your womb. And your womb is a mentality. Anyone can have, a womb, in a sense of, when I say womb, we have the physical womb as women, but it's also, I'm saying, the vibration of care and concern, care, real life care and concern that manifests, shows up in distinct, consistent behaviors. We have been opening our womb to people that are mean, irresponsible, immature, inconsistent, not demonstrating a track record or just a consistent investment in terms of showing their long-term care and concern. So it's not about forcing people or making demands. Just noticing the distinction between making a demand and having standards. When you have standards and you remove yourself from making yourself accessible to behavior that basically doesn't care about you, is not concerned about you, that's a standard. That's different from putting our hands on our hips and making demands on people to treat a certain kind of way, because 'tis not the season. I invite you to commence your new year early. I invite you to commence the new year early. See, the sun is getting ready to come out. We're going to catch the sunrise. If you like to catch the sunrise, if you're an early riser. Removing ourselves from harm's way. That could be any skin tone color. That could be a family member. That could be, to a certain degree, however you're able to, energetically first, in your mind first. It's a mentality. It's not a force. It's not a force, but a standard. When you quietly, to a certain degree, have a standard of removing yourself from harm's way. You know, if we could open up and put this wisdom in ourselves as young women and young men, it takes a lot of esteem and care to not go along with the crowd and the music videos and what everybody in church is doing or what everybody on TV is doing with the group think. When you can feel and know, there's an intelligence that knows that you don't need to put yourself in harm's way. Let's say specifically sexually. Mean people that are showing you they can have a tendency to be abusive with words or with their physical actions. Folks that are irresponsible with their economics most likely are going to be irresponsible with you. If folks, and this is again, this is not a force, this is not something for other people, this is for ourselves. If you are, if if I put myself in harm's way with the foods or the substances masquerading as food that I put into my body temple, this divine vehicle that I get one, anything I put into this temple, chemicals, candies, wine, alcohol, fry, affects my brain, my arteries, my inspiration, my motivation. Again, a lot of our natural desires, I observe, just woman's observation, have been co-opted because there are programs, literal programs that are scripted, put out on TV, and that are blipped out every couple of seconds in between YouTube videos that show you that it is fun and exciting to eat yourself to the point where your stomach is distended, to create constipation, to create acne, to eat raw vegan treats, um, a whole tin of a pie because it's raw. You know, it's fun, fun, fun to overstuff ourselves. It's fun, fun, fun to oversex ourselves. It's fun to stuff our closets with more clothes than we could ever wear in 365 days. Is that to put ourselves in debt or unnecessary debt or uh, at risk for diseases or to try to fix people that we're not qualified, then when we haven't even given nurturing to ourselves, when we have not secured ourselves into the future, is that really fun? Maybe our ego thinks it's a challenge, but I don't think we, in our younger years, right, and inexperienced years, I don't think that we factor in the long-term energy drain, the our 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 rasa, our juice, our our investment plan for the future. Like kind of think like your 401k plan, right? You got your inheritance, also your energy, your creativity, your zeal for life. It doesn't appear we, in our young ignorance and inexperience, all that energy that we're putting into other folks to gain attention, to get people to like us. And when you get attention from immature people, sometimes maybe not bad people, but just immature, those lacking character, now we've used up our literal inheritance, our energy for the future. So that later when you need the energy to literally to cultivate a movement practice, aka exercise, whatever that looks like for you. I'm not just talking about sitting at the gym, but to move freely and play and enjoy your body temple. When your body temple is safe, it's thriving, it's healthy, it's mobile. You can use it to play. You can use it to do all kinds of things to defend yourself, to have adventures on this planet. You've used it up. And so later, if we look and if we see, observe so many of us women, just like complacent, uh, apathetic, uh, drained of energy. We look back, we gave a lot of it away in ignorance. Um, Went from naivete to bitter and jaded out of ignorance. A lot of times not knowing any better and following many of the adults around us. Squandered a lot of energy and put ourselves in harm's way. Now we could stay angry, but that's not really proactive. I found it's been more proactive to seek understanding. But wherever we are in this moment, um, blame is not a proactive energy. or proactive. I don't want to be esoteric at all. Not very practical. Whereas um, understanding and clarity, with understanding and clarity, I can see how to proceed. I can get clear, and this is my situation. These are steps I need to take. Now I can get clear and not have so much energy. When I say energy, mental focus tied up in um, getting revenge or making people pay or getting myself in shape or eating right to get the attention of others. Ideally, it's for ourselves. It's for our own being. We will lay down this coat. It's chilly out here. This coat of the body, we will lay it down. All of us are going to lay down this coat called body. So what kinds of experiences would you like to have while with the rest of your time you have left? Don't you want to have fun? Don't you want to have play? Don't you want to be pain free? Don't you want smiles? Are you going to continually wait for someone to ask you to dance? Are you going to wait? Um, are you going to wait? Are you going to wait? Because we could be missing out on so much from ourselves. So this morning, this early day, just resolved. Gonna have to, even if it feels foreign, even if it feels weird, you're going to have to give the attention. Now, I know we have a lot of romantic programs and ideas and pictures from the time we were babies with Cinderella and somebody's coming to rescue you, and the Savior's coming to rescue, no offense. To anybody that might be religious, going to have to give that love to ourselves. I think that it has been observed that that's where we're going to get the most tangible results that are moving us forward. And the hug, quite often, is that fruit or that vegetable. And the hug can be that abstinence from behaviors that put you in harm's way with people and with substances, even with your time. To squander your precious time. There's enough time for us to get a movement practice in. There's enough time to make healthy food. There's enough time to start a little windowsill garden. There's enough time to take a nap. But quite often our time is siphoned off, and we are choosing that. We are choosing. So um, it's up to us to reorchestrate, and it most likely will take time, like decluttering and getting rid of a lot of old stuff to make room for new stuff or just to make room for room. It requires something to reorchestrate our lives so we can get the best out of our time. And so I invite you perhaps to consider, a lot of times we've heard the phrase time management, but of energy management. Do you notice when you're the most inspired? For me, it's the early morning, right? For example, many people may get up in the morning, you want to fast, you're ready to work out. But by the time a certain hour or time hit when other people start waking up and it gets noisy and calls start coming in and you start looking at the internet, motivation to none is gone. El Gano, right? Do you seek good company with yourself, right, as a foundation, right? Are you able to be quiet? Be quiet and be quiet. Perhaps lay on the floor and just be quiet on your mat. Are you able to sometimes be quiet? I love music, but are you able sometimes to turn off the music and to hear the quiet? Like I've been areas of the bush where it is so quiet. It is so, oh my gosh, it is so, it feels so good, the quiet, like of nature, which is one of the many reasons I encourage folks to start some kind of a garden, right? And to get some sun on your skin, even if you're in a city apartment and the sun is coming through, even cats and dogs, to go find a warm spot, drag their little blanket and lay on the floor and relax in the sun. You can watch animals and moving, living meditation. So I invite you this early day to just consider reorganizing your day and observing when you are the most motivated and leveraging that time. How can you maximize the energy and the the feeling, the motivation at that time. Notice when you feel more motivated, the morning, the afternoon, or the evening for self-care, and maximize on those openings of focus and energy. So you can really craft, right? Craft a lifestyle that totally works for your joy and your pleasure, right? Just like I consider health is my number one beauty product. Health and pleasurable things like relaxation is pleasurable. The garden is pleasurable. Having a body that's free of encumbrances and not clogged up um, is pleasurable, right? You keep thinking of getting pleasure from uh, hypersexuality, you know. Uh, yeah, and unfortunately, there's always someone that logs on to my page, and at this point, I used to be really tripped out, but it's just the energies and the environment that we're in today. Whenever we turn on this, when I go live, it used to be really creepy. The people that actually put stuff on my page, links to uh, sex videos or videos they may want to see of mature women or mothers. I think it's interesting. So I desire to seek understanding, not passivity. But I realize people are so devoid of energy, so isolated. They're reaching out, trying to siphon off or vampire energy, um, and that's just what it is. Voyeurs from behind computer screens, while maybe perhaps lacking the communication skills or not wanting to be disciplined enough to create the people skills to interact with real people. And that kind of behavior is encouraged today, where folks would rather use a doll or sit as a voyeur in their imagination and not have to come out in real life and be disciplined and be vulnerable to get feedback from other human beings. You know, I know something I work on often is being relaxed enough in myself to be able to hear other people and not cut people off when I'm speaking. And if I get quiet, I can notice that it can come from not feeling not heard or anxiety around not being heard. And quite often we don't get feedback in these particular areas. Our circles of influence may not be people who we work on communication skills with, or people that are always work or that are also working on literally working on themselves, not just reading self-help books passively, but are that engaged in different activities where they're committed to generating some order in their life and being um, not being so codependent on other people for pleasure and satisfaction and peace and calm. So I'm not going to drag this on. Still waiting for the sun to come up. I'm up so early. I was hoping I would share the sunrise with folks, but inviting you folks, I would love to hear if you catch the sunrise. Now, some folks again might wonder why, as a fitness coach and a trainer, do I always invite people to start a garden? Well, because a garden can dial you in almost immediately, flip you into a mentality of being very observant to cycles of nature that we don't have control over. And a lot of these cycles exist within our own body temple. And they can be very, very helpful in not weight loss, but weight release, right? Allowing our bodies to fall to a natural, comfortable weight. The body has a divine intelligence when we get out of the way. But all the stress and the anxiety and putting ourselves in harm's way that has residual effects is a huge addictive distraction, if you feel me. So hopefully this video has created some value for you. I'm inviting you to create a great day on purpose. See, the sun is coming. What direction is it coming from? And I invite you to catch the sunrise with me and to start the new year early. Now it's the Greco-Roman calendar or whatever, but you can use everything around you. You can use everything around you for your benefit. So you might have several New Years, but I make a pointed decision not to wait for someone else to write the narrative on the new year. So every time you go to sleep and you wake up is a new year, is a new day. So I invite you with this early risers, this early risers initiative, right, to join me in catching the sunrise. And should you catch the sunrise, let's see, in New York, what time is it right now? In New York, it's probably going on 5 o'clock in the morning. Right now, wherever you are, if you can catch the sunrise, see, you have in mind neighbor alarm clocks, the roosters. If you can catch the first lights of the sun, I would love to know if you're able to do that, how it makes you feel, and perhaps to write that down. See, these are very real experiences, right? We can use our imagination. I think it's also important to have very real experiences that give you very real feelings and to note the internal dialogue that's going on. So if you're able to catch the sunrise with me, what other kinds of possibilities are there for you to generate the energy to get up and move your body vigorously, to get up and prep some food quick, some food for your skin, right? For your acne journey, right? Shout out to all my folks there, really endeavoring and taking on embracing your own hair and your skin, which can potentially allow you to take more time off the table, right? And have more time for your movement practice and for prepping food and to start a garden, right? And put more resources there. So I'm inviting you all to create a great day on purpose. Please let me know if you catch the sunrise, if you're with the early risers. I'm calling it the early risers initiative. And if you're able to catch the sunrise, I'd love to hear what are the thoughts that come up in your internal dialogue. And if you feel a sense of peace. Anyone wishing to contact me, feel free to do so on Body-Culinary. The link should be somewhere in the bio. All right, y'all. Create a great day on purpose. You're up early, day off to a good start. And you folks as voyeurs, you're invited to, instead of looking at other people's pages and to siphon the energy off of women who you're not interacting with. I know my womb is closed to mean people, voyeurs, irresponsible folks. My womb is closed. I'm energetically closed to that. Perhaps you might want to seek the womb of nature and catch the sunrise. Maybe that will make you feel better. Create a great day.